everyone, I'm Isabella.
And I'm Carmela, and welcome back to 20s Unleashed.
So, deep conversations.
Yeah, so we were reflecting about the fact that at the core of our podcast, there's the fact that Isabella and we have a lot of deep conversation.
Yeah.
And that's where like the idea
of the
came
podcast
out.
was kind of born. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were reflecting on how this is, how much is it important for us?
Yeah.
Like to have deep conversation with people.
Yeah. I think that it is something that, not everybody has as a requirement.
Yeah.
It is definitely something that I have as a requirement, and something that I think, especially in these past few years, has continued to grow.
Yeah.
And is something that I feel becomes more and more important in my life.
Yeah. What I told Isabella is that I'm pretty sure when we met like the first time, I was not like so much into like deep conversations. So she kind of introduced like a lot of deep topic in my life. And I think it's kind of a skill you learn.
Yeah, obviously.
Because we do not like just grow up, and it's not automatic. Automatic, I think.
No, I don't think it maybe depends on how you grow up, but I think that it's not immediate to just reflect on everything at a deeper level.
Yeah. Because that's what we do. Like, we take like every kind of subject and then we kind of reflect on it. Yeah.
I think even at a university level, especially, I remember, I did my whole bachelor with her. So every single conference we went to, every single meeting, or like when we saw something interesting, we always had like a conversation on it later, and like went into depth on like how that made us feel, or like how that was interesting, or how that, like, it can be so many different things. But I just know that there's so many conversations that I remember having, not just with you, but with other friends. And it's kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
I
think it's very interesting to understand how your friends reflect.
Yeah.
Like how their brain works.
Yeah.
And how they attribute their value in a certain situation.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's kind of bonding.
Definitely.
Once you have a deep conversation with someone, I think the friendship gets a bit
because it's exactly like you said. I think you kind of attribute I think it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
It's not something that you actively think about when you obviously I think it's a conversation you have to reflect on, but the way you integrate your values into the conversation is like a natural thing. And so talking to somebody about something on a deeper level, you kind of understand how they relate to the topic on like a personal level.
Yeah.
And some deep conversations I've had, I have not related to at all. Like, they have been completely something that I have not that is not a part of my life and my world, but it's something that maybe somebody read about, or somebody saw something, or they talked to another friend and they were like, oh my God, we talked about this. And you want to talk to it with your other friends as well.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's not something that you relate to, but you still find ways to integrate your values into the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And as I said, the more you practice it, the more
it becomes kind of natural.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think it's pretty natural for me to just go deeper on certain topics with certain people.
Yeah. But especially because I have also a lot of friends that they might mention something, and you kind of see that they're not they know what they're saying, but they're not really convinced. And I'm like, okay, but why are you saying? Is there a reason as to why that was your thought? Sometimes it's just interesting to just see the thought process that they went through to get to that conclusion. Because there's some things that people say to me that I've never thought about before.
I agree.
And so for me, it's interesting to see, oh wait, why are they saying that? I've never thought about that. And then when they explain their thought process to you, you're like, oh, yeah, that never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't agree, maybe you do, but it's still interesting.
Yeah. And beside the fact that, as you said, they add you new insight.
Yeah.
From my perspective, having a friend as Isabella, who is like she is, she loves like going like in depth,
Yeah.
and understanding how, like, why I think like the things
Yeah.
I think, and how like I can argument
Them. Yeah.
yeah, you know. So she kind of brings all your ideas like to the extreme, and she's like, okay, what if, okay, and now what if, and like it's, and I mean, from my perspective, it's very interesting because it makes you, okay, now I have to like go
Think
on
about
that,
it, yeah.
you know, about like my thoughts. It's kind of weird at the beginning.
Yeah, no, it is. But sometimes I think because sometimes you think about a certain scenario or you like plan something out in your head and you like have this whole like thought process, but then like you never applicate it to other situations.
Yeah.
And so you don't really know if it's something that you believe or something that you think, like, I don't know, because you only ever apply it to your like immediate reality.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it's kind of fun.
it's kind of fun. Yeah, definitely.
But I also, yeah, I really think that it is a bonding experience. And I think that it personally, it allows my relationship with that person, whether it be a partner, a friend, a family member, to grow.
Yeah,
Like understanding how their brain works
yeah,
and just what they think in certain situations is like, it really, I think it like allows that relationship that you have with that person to just evolve.
yeah, I agree. And also how people go through some situations, and how like all the thinking process goes.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. Especially, yeah, exactly. Especially when I ask a friend for advice,
Yeah,
then, you know, then I'm showing you my vulnerable side, but I'm also going to you because I know that maybe your advice in that field is like, can be helpful.
yeah,
And I don't want superficial advice.
exactly.
You know, if I'm coming to you, it's because I want you, like, I want it to go a little bit deeper. And so then you might like, you know,
Yeah,
you might dig a little and be like, okay, but I know you have been in a similar situation. How did it work for you? And I don't think everything works the same for everybody, but sometimes, at least in this phase of our lives, having ideas, like seeing many different things around you and how people went through stuff or how people think about something, it like helps you like piece together little pieces
Yeah.
that might have been missing for
Yeah.
you.
But that's why I think it's important to be surrounded by people who have this attitude to
Yeah.
go in depth, because sometimes people just really stay on a superficial level, which it can be good. I'm not saying that everybody should everything you say
No, of
should
course
be.
not.
I mean,
No,
there's a moment for
balance,
everything.
you know, you
yeah.
have to find a balance.
But sometimes, to like make the friendship grow or a relationship to grow, I think it's needed. You
Yeah.
need to go like in depth, and
Yeah.
and there are people who just cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I just try with people to bring something up, like a topic, and just try to make them reflect on it, to understand like how they just defend their ideas, and sometimes they just don't,
No.
or they just agree, you know, like people who always agree with you.
Yeah.
And then you just, she does it like she just changed her minds, and then she goes like against you to like make you think,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I think that sometimes it's important to realize, at least how I believe my values are, is that I have certain values because I like some of those, I'm not saying all of them, some of them just came naturally to me that I
Yeah.
grew up with, but some of them I gained through a learning process.
Yeah,
And I think that sometimes you need to be able to back up your values as well,
I agree.
you know? And I hope that I do that, but I think that it's also okay to admit when you're not sure.
Yeah,
You know, like I think this, I don't really know why, but I just think this, you know?
exactly. Yes.
But like I think that it's important to understand like where your ideas come from,
Yeah,
you know?
and then you have to make them like your ideas.
Yeah.
Because when you,
because then I think that, at least personally, I don't think everybody's like me, but
Yeah.
when I understand where my ideas come from, it's my identity.
Exactly, yes.
Like I know how my brain works. I know where I got these ideas. I know that I think this way because maybe for that value there was a thought process behind it, and it wasn't just somebody told me that once.
Exactly.
And
but that's the process of growing, I think.
Yeah.
That's like becoming an adult with your ideas and your values. Because I mean, everybody has parents, and they teach you something. And, I think when I was a teenager, my parents' values were my values as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of started to doubt myself.
Yeah.
When you have a conversation and you're like, oh no, I have this idea. And they were like, okay, but why? I mean, why? Like, tell me, like, where does it come from? And you're like, my mom told me. It's kind of, in your mind, you're like, I don't know, like, my mom, like, always told me that. Yeah. So you're like, why? I mean, is there another idea?
No.
Can I have another opinion?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
That's when you start, like, having some doubts. But you have to have something deep that...
Yeah, I think it's normal. Like, there's certain values that I have from my parents that I will always have.
Absolutely, yes.
And there's others that, I've maybe less when I was younger, but now I know I will tell my parents when I don't agree with them. And like never in like a mean way, it doesn't have to, it's not, I'm not saying like go against people.
No.
But it's, it's more like in that situation, it's finding your own value.
Exactly. It's make your identity clear.
Yeah.
It's not like, mom, dad, you're wrong. It's just, okay, my idea, like what I am is more that value.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're wrong. It's just, that's me. That's how I am.
Yeah. But even friends, I mean, if like, I think I tell you when I don't think that you...
Yeah.
And like, it's up to you to listen to me
of
or
course,
not.
Of course, yeah.
I think that in that moment, it was important for me to tell you, like, listen, I would have done this, or like, I see it this way.
I agree.
And yeah.
Yeah. I think the most like topic, I think it's really like in very, very deep, is the universe.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of the most intimate topic ever. I don't know why I feel like that, but once you can talk about the universe with someone, it's kind of very vulnerable. I don't know why, but every time I speak about the universe,
I have limits within that conversation as well.
Same.
When it reaches a certain point, there's like, for example, I mean, I could say, like, I don't feel comfortable talking about death.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
it scares, absolutely. Like, that conversation is so scary to me.
I agree.
And I, to this day, will avoid it with anybody.
Same.
And so, like, I know that even I have my, like, that was one example. I probably have others. One of my limits to deep and vulnerable conversations.
Yeah.
I think that we all have them. I think that, like, honestly, if somebody is openly able to talk about everything, like, wow.
Yeah, no,
that is not me. I have a few
no.
limits as well. But like, but I think that it's, when you can talk about everything, but then when you talk, for example, about the universe, you realize that, we're just so tiny and so insignificant on an infinite scale. In the infinite scale of the universe.
I have this small memory. I don't know where we were, but I remember me and you and someone else, we were talking about something very deep.
Yeah.
Like universe related, I don't know, or like life-wise related. And then it went on a depth like topic, and we were like, okay, can we just stop talking about this?
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're gonna cry. And I remember like us saying that, and the others were like, yeah, okay. But no, I cannot talk about that.
No, me neither.
And if I can, I mean, if I talk with you about that, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
Because it's very sensitive for me.
Yeah. But I think everybody has their own sensitive topics.
Yeah.
Some can come from a past trauma. Some can just come from, like, everybody has their own level of vulnerability. And, like, I maybe am vulnerable in one sense and another person another. And so, like, we talk about different things more openly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. But I like it. And we actually talked about this right before recording this episode about how nice deep talks are when you're looking at the stars at night, or in general at night. But when you're like looking at the stars, it feels kind of magical.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can say anything and like nobody's going to judge me, or like the person I'm with is not going to.
Yeah. And it looks like it's going to stay there with the stars and with the dark, and it's just like one moment, it's one picture.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It is. And I also told her that this summer I was with my boyfriend and we were looking at the stars and I saw a shooting star.
Okay.
A falling star.
Yeah.
I think it's a shooting star.
I think There's a song.
There's a song? Oh.
Yeah, I think it should. Yeah.
Anyways.
I don't know.
And it's been years since I've seen one of those.
Yeah.
And it just like, you're just sitting there and you're looking at it and you're like, wow. Like, I'm like, look at the sky. Like, what am I?
Yeah, exactly. And then you start doubting yourself.
But not even, you're just like, not even doubting yourself. I think it's more of like you reflect on your life.
Yeah.
And another really interesting topic that is like, that I've spoken in the past year to more than one person about is the fact that, I live my own life and everybody else is just a side character in my life, of course, because like I'm my own person. And sometimes it's like weird to think that like you, Carmela, you have your own brain.
Yeah.
You have your own thought process. You have your own life. And like, I'm your side character,
Yeah, I mean, everybody is like the main character of their life.
Yeah. And sometimes it's weird to, like I think about even just my family, like I grew up with them, but like, they have their own lives outside of me.
That's crazy.
Like my parents had their own life before us children,
This is hard to understand. I mean,
it is.
I know it. And I know a lot of stories about like the time before me and my sister, and even before my parents met, but it's weird.
Yeah.
But that's like the human history for me. Kind of weird. Yeah. Because I was not there, so
no, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think that when like also this summer when we were in Greece, I remember once we were just sitting on the like shore in the water, just like talking, and that's also, it feels like it just felt like such a peaceful moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're like, I feel like there's different conversations that come out.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot.
Sometimes when I'm sitting at dinner, there's certain deep conversations that come out there. And then there's certain conversations that like when you're more in like a nature setting. So like
that's true.
Sitting by the beach or like looking at the stars or maybe lying down, having a picnic.
Yeah.
Then like other conversations come out, like same, like always deep conversations, but at like a different level.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that there's categories of deep conversation.
But I think it's natural. Like it's
just natural. Yeah. It's not like I'm like, okay, now let's talk about this.
No, exactly.
It's always something like somebody makes a comment and then from there, like, it kind of just starts by itself.
Sometimes I just say out loud the thoughts I have.
Yeah, also.
Just I'm thinking about something and I'm like, coming here, like we were walking and I just shared one of my thoughts about like raising children. Yeah. And it's just something that I was thinking a few days ago. And then I was just we were walking in the city in Zurich. So I was like, oh, imagine like raising your children here.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I was against it, but it was. Yeah, it will be another episode.
I think that there's like even within that conversation, I think we talked about it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
there's so many different ways that conversation can go. Yeah, depending on like what you choose to focus the subject on.
I agree. Yeah,
and so there are several like conversations that I've had, even with the same person, over and over again, but every time in like a different direction.
Yeah, and it evolves.
Yeah,
because I mean, there's not like hundreds topic we can talk about. I mean, there are. It's like,
but most of the time, it is connected to my life.
Yeah,
things that I've seen, things that I heard, things that I experienced, just random thoughts that pop into my head, but it's mostly related to, the life that I'm living, at least when it comes from me.
Yeah, the
when
most
it comes from
relevant
other
topics.
people.
But I mean, I talk a lot about like my love life and my uni life, because I mean there is like they are the two biggest topic in my life, I think, and it's always the same. But I think it's important that the conversation goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not stuck and you're not like repeating the same things every time.
No, exactly.
It has to evolve.
Yeah. But even just, this is a dumb example, but even when in our bachelor, me and Carmela would talk about courses, it was always like this course because it could have this impact.
Yeah.
Or like because it was interesting. Or like because, there's always like a reason as well as to like,
I agree.
And you bring it that step further. Or we were like, oh, let's go to this conference because it will give us this. Or like, let's sign up for this activity.
Yeah, I agree.
Like always trying to like get the most out of an experience as well.
Yeah, and I think it's harder to get the most when you stay on a superficial level.
Yeah.
That's it. I think you have to challenge a bit yourself and like go.
Yeah. Like I'm very proud of the experiences that I've gone through these past few years, and also the people that I've met and the bonds that I have with some of my closest people around me. And I mean, like I have superficial friendships, I have acquaintances, and I have like really fun with them. Like I am not saying that it's like I can't have a friend,
No.
and like, and I have to only have deep conversations.
No.
I think that a balance is needed.
Absolutely.
I think that you need to have like, for me, a healthy friendship is a mix of fun, of just chill talks, of deep talks, of like.
Yesterday we spent like 2 hours,
probably even more.
I
like
think
3
more,
hours.
like gossiping.
Yeah,
but in a healthy way.
Like about our personal lives.
Not about others, but like was we catch up.
It was like an update. It's just
I mean,
like
we haven't seen each other like since 2 weeks, but it was like a chill moment. Because we also need that. We need a balance. It's just that for me personally, I'm sure like for a relationship, for sure, I need someone where I will be able to talk about the universe and about death and about, I don't know, like every like big topic that scares me in depth. And I want to be listened, and I want the other person to go on depth with me. That's like what I think about it. And the same with like close friends.
And also because sometimes I think that when somebody else, like I said, we all have different things that we're scared to talk about. Maybe me and you having a conversation about death would not go anywhere.
No, I think it's better not to have it.
If you talk to it with someone else that is not scared of talking about that subject, then like it becomes a little less scary.
I agree.
Yeah. And like, and maybe in that case, if it's something that really terrifies you, then you have to talk with more than one person to have several ideas.
Yeah.
But it's like, when you open up, it can also, like, it's a scary process opening up, but it also becomes less scary.
I agree.
When you realize that somebody else is like okay with talking about it, and that everybody has their own fear. Per se.
So yes, we think that deep conversations are great.
Exactly. And like, I think that it can be a really fun way to grow with a person, because some deep conversations that I've had have been really fun as well. Not just serious, but like fun,
But in the end,
because also like, especially like now she mentioned the universe, but like when you talk about the universe, there's so many hypothetical scenarios that you can come up with, like there's plenty of different things. And
people believe in so many different things when you talk about,
but even just talking about beliefs is
it's
interesting.
A huge topic.
And now maybe we're talking about one-on-one conversations, but I've had friends where we've spoken like even 5, 6, 7 people on a topic, and then that's when you really see like different ideas.
Yeah.
Because when you're just two people, you know, like maybe you have opposing ideas, but like when you're like more, there's like different shades of each idea, and it can get really fun. And like there's never any judgment. It's just like, who thought that person thought that way? Like I would have never known that that person thought like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it can be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, don't forget to have deep conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, thank you for listening.
And see you next week.
Bye.